alternatives for people like me.
I call me Mickey. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, don't try to be cancelled on this space. I'm begging you. We are live right now, and we have no notifications, and it's unusual time for streaming. So please share this stream so people can easily find us. And I will send some links also in abstract, guys, so they could join us who are interested in art. And today it's in like I don't know, I have a great feelings about today's conversation with you, Nuke. No, that's too unusual. I agree with Hunter.
All right. Y'all can call me Mickey. It's fine.
You can't have some Eastern European girl on the internet saying nuke. Like, it's just bad, It's just bad blood.
Yeah. So yeah, as usual, Wednesday, but unusual time. We are on Art Talks. Art Talks is not a format of interview, but of course the main goal is to know from main guests how he created his art and everything. But it's open conversation, so everyone who wants to be involved can join us. And this stream backed by Singular. This is a platform for traders and artists. And on this platform, you not only can join the communities, but also earn some points that will give you airdrop in the future. And we have Hunt. He is from the Singular team, and recently he started selling nudes for anime token on his page. So it feels like not everything is good with airdrop right now. Hi, Hunt.
I want to thank you for being my first official paid client, my first patron, as it would. I really appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed the product.
I believe I believe
Sorry?
like I'm first and the only. No.
No, there were more after. You started a trend. Ira.
Okay.
My nudes are all over the internet now. They're not AI. Enjoy.
That's interesting because we have like AI artist today. Let's see what he will say about this new topic and everything. Hi, Nuke.
Can we? What are we expecting here? Are we expecting like full frontals, or is it just fake pics, or what?
Everybody gets depending on how much they buy. It's contribution based.
Oh, okay. All right.
Are you looking to? Are you in the market?
No, but I am looking at your art piece on the wall now, actually, thanks to Odeka's comment.
This look
That's me
wrong.
writing our community manager, A's. Actually, a member of the Azuki art team made that for me, so I'm.
That's brilliant. Oh wow, that's a beautiful work of art, man. I love it.
When he made it, it was like a timeline meme, and then I told him I wanted to print it and put it on my wall, so he made me like a high-res version, sent it over. It was really good.
Really beautiful.
Thank you.
And yeah, guys, and I want to introduce our next guest today is Yusman, who is an amazing artist. He already was with us when we made the stream with Dutch Tide, and he drew online. Sometimes we do it, we ask some artists draw online, but today I don't know, I didn't feel it right because you are an artist too, and I didn't know how you can combine with other artists, so I decided to not do this, just talk with all of you guys. Yeah, how do you feel right now after your successful mint? It was crazy. Like all people who connected with art talked about you. Oh wait, no, I didn't pass mic to Yusman. I just say he's with us.
Okay, it's okay. I'm just
So
having fun
sorry.
here. So hello everyone. Hello Nikki, Han and Ira.
Hi.
Like I said, I'm the yellow one here, but I try my best. So Han is my first time meet you, I think. Hello.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Yes, the first time. Oh yeah, you wasn't on the Dutch Tide space stream with us, Han.
Yeah, no, we've been in DMs.
we agreed that you need to give us huge airdrop on this stream when you wasn't with us, and then you need to spend it on huge event where will be also Violetta Ceroni as a musician, and you need to sponsor it, everything that we want. Sorry, we
Okay,
just
I
had.
mean the word airdrop happens to mean a lot of different things now that we're, you know, a globe at war. But I will do my best. I will do my best.
You guys trying to cancel us? Wait, no, let's not do this. So, Nuke, hi, and again, my question is, how do you feel yourself after like such a success? Like, OpenSea was like, you know, having you on the main page, and everyone talk about you. So, how are you?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like it was a wild like week and a half so far. You know, I thought that people would like it, but I didn't know that it would do what it did. And like, you know, it's been really just awesome seeing a kind of community forming around it. People have got like their favorites already, and people have got like, you know, little trade groups forming where they're liking certain things. And we've got like a group chat that's kind of popping off like 24/7. And so like, it's a nice little community for me. And the thing is about this collection, it's not huge. It's like only 404 pieces. So like, it's got a really like limited kind of supply. And to see I guess the kind of volume that's happened on such a small collection over such a short period of time, I think that that's gotten a lot of people kind of excited as well. Like I know I've had a lot of people reach out wanting to talk to me about it, and I've had a lot of other artists ask me like how I did it or how I, you know, what things I did differently and stuff like that. So it's been really interesting. I've been very busy. Yeah, it's just been nuts. Like, but I've been really happy and really stoked with how it's performing so far, and just how people are receiving the art. Like that means a lot to me after putting like a lot of time into it. So
Yeah. How much time you prepared your collection? How much time it took for you? Because the collection is not having like big supply, and also you like I like the mechanic of how you sold it with the, you know, all these closed boxes and everything. So how you came up with this idea and how much time it took for preparing everything?
yeah, so
Because it's
I've
sold
done
out. Sorry, it was sold out in like some minutes, right?
seconds. Yeah,
Second.
it was seconds after I went live. But you know, the thing is, I had like 2 pre-sale rounds and stuff. So part of the mechanic is I had a pre-sale round for my collectors because I didn't want my collectors to miss out on, you know, feeling like they got an advantage for supporting me through all this time. So I gave all my collectors the allow list for an hour, and then I gave communities an allow list for an hour. And so I was expecting that what I would do is if it didn't sell. I didn't want to be telling everyone to run to the community in case it did sell out on my collectors, because then I would have felt bad. But then, so I instead I told some communities that they were on the allow list, and I was expecting that if I had room to tell others that I'd put them on there, that I was going to tell them as well. But what happened was all these people who were on the allow list, they were messaging me. They're like, "Oh, it's not working." And like, you had to do this thing. We had to log out, log back in, and then check it. And like, I had to say that like 50 or 60 times to people. And so I was so busy responding to all these messages, people being not being able to mint it in that moment, that I forgot to tell like the grifters and 452B and a few other little communities that I had given allow list to. And so yeah, there was some people that were sad they missed out, because they were like, "Oh, I'll just get it on public and stuff." But like on public, it was literally seconds. And it was only like 80 left when it went to public, and it just sold out in seconds. But what was happening during those pre-sale phases was people were already putting active bids on them. So it was already running up above its floor price and above the mid price, just on all the people trying to accumulate them while it was in pre-sale. So that was, I think, a factor too. But for your question of how long it took me to build the work and how long like it was to work on it, I started probably realistically working on this around January. January was when I did the first kind of experimentation into it. It actually changed forms a few times when I was like not really sure about the vibe of it. I wasn't really sure how well I was liking it, because I've done action figures before. I did them back in 2023, and it was kind of like, it was a little bit harder to do it then. You know, there wasn't the same tools that there are now, but I was, you know, I was using a lot of Photoshop and stuff to cover up the shortcomings of the medium of AI. But yeah,
Did you
the
make
that
them before in 2023 with the AI too, or like
yeah.
you? Okay.
So I used DALI 2 and I used DALI 3 ones that came out, but I used DALI 2 mostly for those early ones. And so I would generate action figure and packaging, and then all the text would just be junk. So I would just go in and Photoshop all the text in, and then I would like fix the likenesses to be more like the people they were supposed to be of and stuff. So it was a bit of work back then to do it, but it was really fun. Um, thing that came about out of just like having fun with my friends and like joking with them and stuff and making these like action figures that were like low key disses on them. So you know how you have your friends and stuff, you make fun of them. And I was just doing it through the medium of action figures. And then people kept asking me to do other people and stuff. So I like started expanding it. But when I was doing this series, I knew I wanted to do X copy, but I didn't know how to do it because he's
Yeah.
such a mysterious person. And like he's
Yeah,
so
sorry, I
yeah.
will be
Yeah,
interrupting
come
you during
go
your
go.
story, because when I like saw your figures, I was like, my first question in my head was like, of course, it's beautiful and everything, but did he needed agreement from Xcopy to create art based on his artworks, or how it's actually working?
So X copies are a really interesting case, and the reason why I kind of chose to do this whole thing about X copy is because X copy's work is all CCO, and so he's like a full CCO artist, which means that his work is under Creative Commons, and it allows people to be able to remix the work and reproduce other like homage to the work and stuff like that. And so he's one of the because he's such an iconic fixture in the the crypto art space and stuff. He is someone that his work has been remixed, and like mints of his remix have gone like so wide. Everyone has done them as kind of like a bit of a rite of passage. Like huge artists have done them. And so I was like, I want to do the action figure thing to imagine the work of Xcopy through the medium of this like action figure kind of mock-ups. And so yeah, his work is so expressionistic and like abstract in some ways. Sometimes it's literally just like a field of dots in animation. And to imagine that as like a figure, it's kind of like that's the challenge, you know. And so I did a lot of it with like sketching it on a beyond canvas and stuff. And like there was a lot of sketching that was done because there was a lot of points where I was finding that, when you work with AI, you have prompts and stuff. Oh yeah, that's a bit of an error, that one. That's the only error in the collection is the name on that one, Coachellata. Coachellata 91 and Grifter 380 got swapped. So that's my one metadata error because I added them at the last second as a favor to some great people, but I just oversight. But yeah,
Did you play
there's a
with
lot of
action
shortcomings,
figures as a child? Was that
dude.
like,
I
did you
play with them
have
as an
like
adult. Like
Marvels? Me too.
I play. Yeah, like toys everywhere. I like, yeah, dude. I loved
Pew,
toys when
pew.
I was a kid. Let's get them.
What
But
the
yeah,
mean
dude.
price was for this collection?
What was that? Mid price was 0.02. The pre-sale phases was 0.018, and so it went pretty like parabolic from mid.
Yeah, that's totally. But did Xcopy minted something for himself? Do you know this?
I don't know. I don't think so. I do know that he followed me, but he followed me after he had seen some things from this project as I was making it. I know because I'd seen him like a couple of the posts, which is really cool. And that kind of like made me feel good. But he's pretty kind of like unapproachable, or not unapproachable, it's just like, he's just kind of mysterious. And he had liked a couple of my posts, so I knew he was aware of it. So that was cool. But then what happened was like he followed me, but he followed me after a particular video that I did. So one of the videos was it was like pre-reveal. I was releasing all these hype videos about the series in the week before selling them, and then after selling them, it was just leading up to the reveal. And so before the reveal, I did a video of everyone, and they had the boxes, and their heads were exploding. I don't know. I think he must have liked that because that was when he followed me. Was after that video. It's just people's like heads just blowing up. Yeah, it was it was really funny. And I actually said to a bunch of group chats, I was like, "Do you think this is too far?" And they were like, "Nah." So like it's just far enough.
Oh
So
wait, so you as an artist, you're thinking too, yes, is it too far or not? So you're not like a completely crazy artist who like don't even asking himself about that. How it's working in your head.
I think that like for me, I was looking at it like it was pretty graphic the way that it was showing the heads blow up, and like it was like all celebrities and politicians and shit, just people that people would know, and so like Britney Spears' head explodes and stuff, or like Hillary Clinton's head explodes, and like there's all like blood and guts and stuff, and I was like, I don't know, some people might be offended by that, and like I still want to release it, but I just wanted to get a sense check. Sometimes I'll get that sense check, and I'll be like, this is too far. Like hey, earlier
Yeah.
you said about airdrops, right? I actually have an airdrop coming out for this project, and I did a video that's like I'm gonna release it like pretty much straight after the show, or maybe during the show. And the video is essentially announcing how the airdrop mechanic's gonna work. And well, it actually doesn't announce it. It's just hyping up the point that there is an airdrop. But there are a couple of things where I was making it where I was like, this is probably like close to on the edge because of what we're living through right now. But yeah, it's a video of me like in an airplane pushing boxes out, and then they're falling
Can
and
you
hitting
show
cars
it?
and stuff.
Oh
Can you?
my
Yeah, I can.
god. Oh
Yeah, I
my
can show it.
god.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
All
Ooh,
right,
You
let
know,
me
it's
see if I can
funny
get it.
how like I find it beautiful how the times around us kind of shape our perception of art, because this video would have made sense 3 years ago. Like airdrops are
Yeah.
airdrops. We've seen crates happen a lot, right? But during
Yeah.
a time when the world is like this, we just look at it so differently. It actually makes it
You have
much
to think
more
about it.
powerful.
Yeah. I have to think about stuff like that, and like, you guys not wanting to like, you can call me Mickey because friends call me Mickey, but my friends also call me Nuke as well. But right now, some people have trouble with that. And that is something that I have thought about before, the whole nuclear in my name. It's kind of a bit explosive. It's a bit provocative. Let's see. I'll share the video if you want on my screen. Just
Hell
let me
yeah.
know if you're getting sound or not. Like, this is the first time I'm publicly
wait,
showing this.
I didn't see any like request.
Oh, I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, calm down,
Um,
Ira. Guys, stop putting so much pressure on him. He's an artist. He works at his own
I know
pace.
there's so many tabs going here. You're like a million tabs. Oh my god.
You'll make him go nuclear.
No, I'm a very chill guy. I'm very chill. All right, let's see. All right, yeah, okay. Won't ever be in one of those tabs. So I'm just looking for like 100 tabs. I'm like, how many tabs do you guys normally run with? Like,
Millions. I have millions tabs, I swear.
Why? Why? What's the point?
I have
Because I
unlimited
like
tabs.
okay, one of my tabs is Kindle, and I really want to start reading there when I have a time. Then a tab with the movies that I watch with subtitles to learn English. Then and it's like 3 tabs. Then ChatGPT. Then some useful information that I need to read and everything. Or Hunt, you have like 3 tabs or what?
I have 2.
All right.
Literally, I have 2 tabs. That's it.
Okay, this is the video, all right?
Oh god.
Okay.
No sound though.
No sound? All right, let's see. The sound is what makes it. How do I get the sound going? Let's see. Let's see if I got a way to do sound here. Source.
I can't do nothing. Usually I see this, like make louder, make less louder.
Well, let's see if I can do it. Hold on.
Wait.
All right, so that's on. Let's see. Oh, wait, maybe that. Just give me a second. See, let me know if you get sound, all right?
No, not
You hearing
yet.
sounds? All right,
No.
cool. Let's see here. Maybe I can do it through my NVIDIA broadcast. Broadcast the video through here. No, I can't.
This?
What can I?
Yes.
What if
Yeah,
you
the
what
sound
if
is
you let
good.
the sound play through your speakers and then it gets picked up by the mic?
I would love to, but it's 12:30 and I've got my toddler asleep in the next room.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I could send you the video. But yeah,
Okay.
you can just let's just look at it visually, all right? I think you'll
Okay.
get
Yeah,
the
yeah,
picture.
okay.
You'll get the
Oh, yeah.
picture through it visually, all right?
The sound
Yeah.
will be the surprise alpha when it comes out.
Yeah, exactly right. I won't keep everyone waiting for too long.
I am so dead.
No.
Bro,
Yeah,
it's
but you're wondering
amazing
what they're
how
saying.
productions have gotten, man. Like you see some of these on the timeline and shit, but when you see
Hunt, do
someone
you
like,
understand? Hunt, do you understand that this is AI video? Because you are old, probably you think that this is real.
what the fuck? Bro, it's so good.
So good.
I like how the AI thinks the nurses are strong enough and the paramedics are strong enough not to put the wheels down. Burn and redeem coming
Yeah.
soon. Ooh.
Oh.
So yeah, that's the reveal trailer. I'll pop it online in a sec. I'll pop it, after the show, so that it doesn't take any attention from you. But not that I think it would. But yeah, it's that sort of thing. Was actually a big part of the process for making the hype for the series. Was that I was doing some stuff with this series that I did differently to other ones that I'd released, where I was going through and I was making these like hype videos that were really narrative driven, but not actually showing the product as much. Only a little bit were they showing it. And by doing so, it was creating this kind of like narrative and hype around it. But before that, even I was showing a lot of my work of how I was building things. And I was doing, just sketching videos of me sketching them and time lapses where you could see me working on the, the on canvas that I have here. There, I do a lot of like, oh, it's going to be green screened out, but like this is one of the like live tablets you can draw on. So I did most of it on this, and then from the sketches, I would take them to AI, and then that would produce the shapes that I wanted with more texture and more detail and stuff like that. And then afterwards, I would use that parallel with the Xcopy stuff, and I would draw in more of the faces and more of the details that AI can't get. Because the thing is that AI, right, when you're using it to recreate something, a lot of what it does is pattern recognition and like working within the model's expectations. But the thing about Xcopy is that so much of it defies pattern recognition because it is so like chaotic and like so abstract and layered and textured, and all these things add up to not being able to perfectly recreate in AI, which is great because it meant that like what I was doing was not just surface level. It meant that I actually had to do a bit of work to get the result that I wanted.
That's insane. By the way, I used like intuitively, I felt like artists do it like that, and I wanted to make AI video with me, like when I'm in flower, that it's insect also, this scalapendra. I also, made a sketch at first, then send it to ChatGPT, then send it to Sora, then like recreated it and everything there. So yeah, that's pretty cool how you work with
If
it.
I can just
But
ask a few questions, bro. Sorry,
what?
if I can just ask him a few questions. There's so many things I want to know. First,
Yeah.
do you think that with glitch art, having it not be recognizable by AI that way, do you think that's like do you think that was a part of its creation? Like, because you see
Yeah.
a lot of the CCTV blocking masks, and you see a lot of the idea of like staying away from Big Brother in art.
I think
And now I'm just wondering, is it like chicken and egg?
I think it's a kind of like you can read it into it now. And I think that now that we're in the AI world, that's definitely mostly the case. It probably is part of the case for people's reasoning for doing things that way. I definitely agree. But I think that back in 2017, 2018, when Xcopy was just starting to do stuff on chain, like that, it did have that anti Big Brother kind of feeling to it. It was that really kind of edgy. It seemed like a natural evolution into like the digital world from like a graffiti world. You know what I mean? Like there's this kind of like anti-establishment kind of feeling to it. But glitch for me, the way I see it is because I do glitch art as well, like but not to that level and not in the same way either. But I'd use it in like my alt account that I'll talk about later. But I see it as this kind of like you can use glitch as a language for talking about, the digital world that we live in and the kind of like software driven or like programmatic like world we live in. I think that there's so many different things you can say with glitch as a tool. And, I think Xcopy is someone who's like that kind of uses it to say certain things that can be like anti-establishment or like rebellious and stuff. You see it in pieces like Chart Riot, which has like riot police and stuff, and you see it in some of his earlier work in Tumblr. And then when it gets into his later work, like it ends up the work is much more expressionistic and much more abstract and open, but like it's almost like diaristic. Like I think that one of the things that I really benefited from studying Xcopy so much for so long, when looking at every single piece and stuff like that, is that like I don't feel like I really know what his intentions for the work are, but I definitely feel like I know what the look of the work is. You know what I mean? And I know what I have my own opinions about what the work could mean, but
What the
I'm in no
fuck?
way definitive about that. So yeah.
I have
I
opinion about glitch art. Can I like quickly share because I didn't like discuss it with no one, and like I have a feeling I wanted to write article about glitch art, and when I like analyzed what it reminds to me and everything, I have a feeling that impressionists before they have like the same intentions because we look at Monet and look, this is like glitch art from the past. And I have a feeling like, he wanted to, like, obviously Manet wanted to catch some moment, right? It's some moment, how you feel yourself, like, in this part of the day and everything. So I have a feeling like if he would be like a modern person, he would do glitch art with it because it's like the same colors and everything. So, like, yeah, I have
That's
this.
very
No, I
interesting.
totally agree. Yeah, yeah.
That's very interesting. What about so I'm like a big fan of Odious. I've always loved Odious's art. It's obviously there's like a price point difference between Odious and Xcopy, which makes it easier for a layman, for instance, or someone who's not like in that position to collect.
Yeah, totally.
When do you think AI crossed this threshold where things like this became possible? Because
Mm,
I understand you said you worked with it in 2023. I know that AI was still around before then, right? And
yeah,
I think we've talked about this with a few people, but I feel like tools, algorithmic or machine learning based tools, can kind of still be considered AI, right? Like if you're
yeah,
using certain filters or this, it's still kind of the same function. But
kind of.
when do you
Yeah.
think it reached like this threshold where you could make these kind of productions?
Yeah, so I think that like I was working with I mean my first like forays into AI were in like 2015 when I was working with like Deep Dream and stuff like that. And it was very limited what you could do, but like I loved it because it was really kind of like pareidoilic and stuff where you would see faces in it and it would make eyes and put dogs and fish and shit all into everything and it was these crazy colors. It was really like LSD like. I really loved that. But
Can
it
you
was
show
still
me?
I don't have any of my stuff from them because it was pre me keeping a good catalog. But it's let me show you what Deep Dream looked like. I'll get some good examples. It's on a Deep Dream generator, honestly. Oh, you know what? Actually, you can't do that anymore. If you go to Deep Dream generator, it's actually not Deep Dream anymore. It's something else. They use it now for just a normal AI generator. It's really like, but yeah, Deep Dream used to look like this is actually the perfect example. So this is the precursor to the AI that we use now, right? I'll just make a little its own window so I'm not doxing too much of my life to everyone.
You can
All
dock.
right. I just give you my back. Here's my seed phrase. So
Yes.
this is
Oh,
what this is what Deep Dream was. And Deep Dream was like the early AI pre GANs as well. Like if you look at things like where people go, oh, Robbie Barrett, Lost Robbies and stuff like that. That's with GANs. Or like, Pindev and Armin does like amazing GAN work as well. And recently, I just collected something from Alejandro Katena, and he just did from Fellowship, and he just did again released work as well. So there's not like GANs are like the next step from this. So in the lineage of like AI art and stuff, you have Deep Dream and stuff, and there's other things, algorithmic things like you were saying, Hunt, as well, that were before that used AI in particular ways. But what we know of as AI now is like diffusion models, and so it's about being it's kind of the next step from it goes Deep Dream and then it goes GAN and what not GAN, it was GAN. So yeah, this is like a GAN art and stuff like
Yeah, I
generative
remember
adversarial networks.
it
And
was
so like
took the first place on some exhibition, and it was like huge resonance in 2022, three in 2023. I remember this.
Yeah, and so then what we're dealing with now is like Transformer. For me, it's it's all Transformers, of course. It would be like the fusion based yeah. So yeah, like this, and so or when we go through the history of like AI, it's kind of got this like progression that moves through, and like in looking at crypto art on chain and stuff like that, you're talking about there were pioneers who were doing GAN work and stuff in 2021, and then around 2022 there was Midjourney was running its beta trial, its like beta service, and I was in the Midjourney beta early 2022, and that was my first like kind of return to AI. Between then, like in my career, I'm a photographer, and like I do a lot of commercial photography for paying my bills and stuff. But I've actually just recently moved into like being a full-time artist in the last 8 months, and it's been awesome to get that space to create and to not have to do so much kind of like 9 to 5ing, and being able to really kind of devote a lot of time to art. And it's a really privileged position to be in, and it's not been easy either. It's been really hard, but I think that when we moved over into being able to do the mid-journey sort of stuff, made it really accessible, and suddenly people were no longer limited by much, and early mid-journey has a particular look to it as well that is nice. But once we started moving into like V4, mid-journey V4 was the second one released after public was V3. Midjourney V4 was like when it started going into that photorealism, and I think the Midjourney V4 was around the time the DALL-E 2 released as well, and both of those were capable of doing this kind of thing where you create the action figure sort of thing. That was possible from, I reckon, late 2022, early 2023, easily, because I was doing photorealistic work then. And I think that there were leaps and bounds that happened in 2023, and then there were leaps and bounds that happened in 2024 and 25. Like, it's just been changing like exponentially, and the thing that's changing exponentially now is video. And so AIVS, you just saw that was created using mainly 4 different tools. So I was using VO3 for the talking things, because VO3 is really good at handling that. So that's your Google VO3. And then I was using Midjourney Video, which just came out and is awesome, because Midjourney Video handles surreal stuff very well. And so you can take a source from anything and put it into Midjourney Video right now, and it works. And then, so it was also using Luma as well. Luma Labs is great and clean. Yeah, so it's a lot.
Wow.
It's expensive.
How would you say the flow, like the mental creative flow of an artist works as a parent? So you're not 9 to 5ing, but you mentioned you have a young one. How does that work? Because like I work from home, I got kids, and I just find that whenever I get into that zone, there's requirements.
I'm interrupted.
Or I can't, because I know that in an hour I have to take this one to karate or this one here, and I won't really be able to stretch those muscles. And then I just wait. Thing creative that I do happens between like 3 a.m.
That's me. Yeah,
like, I have no. It's just that those are my hours.
That is the secret. The secret is just don't ever sleep. Never sleep, and then just hope that one day you get to. It is tough, and like for me, I'm lucky that we have my daughter in daycare a couple of days a week. Like 4 out of 5 days she goes to daycare, because she's an only child, and I wanted to learn social skills so that when she goes to school, she's not like out of her depth. So we want her in, like, she's in social programs and stuff, like where she goes and hangs out with her friends, and we take her to that, and she's also in daycare, and those things I think really help her with her socialization skills. But for me, that means that I get this solid period during the day where I can just get shit done, and then so my day is broken up to like the 9 till 4 is work, and then 10 p.m. until like 3 a.m., probably 2 a.m., 10 till 2 is work as well. And so that's my work day. And then everything else is parenting, because I'm kind of like, my schedule was a lot more free to do things like school pickup, school drop off. And like for me, that actually is the real liberating thing about being an artist and having my own kind of
Yeah.
practice where I can support my family. I get to be there for these like really important moments that aren't going to be around for long. And so I really treasure that time and the ability to do that. So that's, that's what success looks like to me, is getting to spend time with my family instead of being like,
Answer.
because I know a lot of people value a lot of different things, and that's totally fine. But for me, I really value being a good dad overall and being a good husband as well. That's a big one too.
Yeah, I
That's
feel you, bro. I've been in that boat for a while. I've got 4 kids, so I've been
Woo.
in that boat for a while. Yeah, I find it tough sometimes because you know that you have this time set aside for work, but then you have to turn on the side of your brain that has to do that work and get it ready. And it's just like, just because you're working from 9 to 4 doesn't mean that you're creative or impactful to your work from 9 to 4,
Yeah,
right? You got to like get in your zone, and you got to cut everything else off, and you got to get some inspiration. And then all of a
yeah,
sudden you have like 1 hour of dope shit, and the rest is
yeah.
like, trying to get there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. When you get into that kind of like the flow state, that's when you're really creating and things are really popping off. And then like, yeah, it's really hard to be like, all right, now let's stop that and go do the responsible thing. But you got to do it, you know what I mean? And like, there's two questions that I want to address. Wizard said, what I said probably costs around 10 to 15K per month. It doesn't cost 10 to 15K per month, but it does cost about like about $1,000 to $2,000 a month. But
that's great.
I'm in a very privileged position too, that I'm in creative partner programs for a couple of them. And so I do get free credits for Luma. So if you ever hear me saying how good Luma is, do know that I do get to use it for free, but it is also really good as well. So um,
Wizard, Wizard, by the way, thank you for watching. And he's an amazing game builder. He made a lot of games for Azuki, for example, and just he doing
cool.
it with
And
passion.
AIs. If you go to the Twitter account, Made Mio, this was an AI that he made and put on Twitter. And essentially, you could tag it and with a photo and say, "Hey, Made Mio, please animate this," or "Made Mio,
Awesome.
please animate my PFP." And it would have like all these different categories: dancing, sexy, and you had like
Oh,
fighting.
awesome.
And it depended on what the photo looked like. It would create a cool like animation for it.
I've been putting
So,
animations for my project into TenorGIF as well. So if you're ever in TenorGIF and
ooh,
if you're writing X figures, my some of my characters will turn up and you can see them. So that means my community can go use them in different places and not have to have the videos on hand, and they can put videos wherever they want just by using Giphy, like using
Mhm.
TenorGIF. And so that means it's in Twitter, it's in Instagram, it's like wherever you want it. It does take a little while for them to approve it, but like anyone can do it.
I can easily see a game like this Bean when he's jumping, with X figures, for example. So yeah,
Oh
guys,
yeah.
need to connect somehow.
Yeah, for sure. And then Sinjon said, do you kids also bring in inspiration? 100%. Like so much of my art is inspired by my kids. And like, some of what you said about the experience for X figures was like with the box and the bag. And like, there is a thing that I did, this simulacrum of what a gacha experience was. And I actually got that inspiration from my daughter, who is obsessed with the gacha store at the shopping center. I was about to dox my location really badly then. I was about to call the specific shopping center that we go to. No, like there's a gacha place in there, and you put the coins in, and you get the ball, you get the egg, and you open it up, and you have a toy. And she was doing that, and I was like, she gave me a really cute like Pokemon, and I was like, this is like really cute, and it's a fun experience to open and get the thing. And I was like, oh wait, that's actually like a blind box for NFT. You know what I mean? It's like when you get the random mint, And so I was like, that's kind of like a good grounding for this project, to have that idea of, pop mart blind box. That's a really popular thing right now with like Labubu and stuff like that. And so I really kind of like honed in on that as an anchor for the series. And so thinking about that with my character design in mind, I was like, what if I opened a capsule egg and this came out, and would that inspire me? You know what I mean? Or would that make me smile? And that was my real driver with like all of these, is to go to take some of X Copy's art, which was, is the way it is, and to make something that could make you smile and make you imagine playing with it and stuff. And that was really a grounding point. And so I took inspiration for her on that. But I also, there's a lot of feelings that are associated with being a parent that really inform art and really inform kind of like things you want to do, like to communicate about like, legacy or feelings of, responsibility and stuff like that. Like there's, it just opens up a whole world being a parent. And I know it's not for everyone, but it surprisingly is for me.
Yeah, we get to have a lot of fun. I find,
Yeah.
like I'm not an artist per se myself, but building like experiences and building out projects and systems and ecosystems and like even websites and just the flow, I find getting my kids involved feels good.
Mm.
Like if I think yesterday we were going through an art collection trying to find like layering issues, finding trait matches, like building out rules and exclusions for the dev. And as we were doing it together, it just felt really good.
Cool.
Like getting to share that with your kids feels really good. Like this is my daughter's bean, and it's like everywhere. It's a female boxing bean, and it's like we've got clothing and toys and this that we like get to share together and like have fun with that IP together. It's definitely dope. They've made a lot of things that I've built better.
That's awesome. And you get that perspective,
but yeah, finding fun.
Because sometimes you think, like sometimes when I'm creating stuff, I think, oh, what would a kid think of this? Or what would kid me think of this? And, the thing is, sometimes it's hard to like, access what kid you would think. And like, because you're so in adult world, But if you get your kid who is kid you, and you go, hey, kid me, what do you think of this? And then, sometimes she's like 3, so her language is not perfect. And she'll be like, ew, it's yucky, or it's disgusting. And you're like, cool, thanks. Oh, my feelings.
By the way, that's interesting, and I think about this more and more recently, like why NFT projects like not existing, like kids NFT projects that would be oriented like especially for kids, like Pudgy Penguins did it with these toys in Walmart and everything. So I feel like when you invest in this generation, it's pretty fast. Like 10 years, but still for the company, it's pretty fast, right? You build like such a huge base, like what we see right now with anime, for example, because audience of anime grew up and now we're ready to purchase, and now every company like using this desire in us to be like connected with anime, because it's like easy to monetize your kid desires, especially back then you couldn't buy. I think it's for many people, you couldn't buy, your family couldn't afford something, and now you can find the afford, so you're purchasing everything toys, like limited edition, something like that. So why do you think like not many projects are entitled like on kids right now to grow them up with their art?
I think it's a really interesting point, and like it's actually like, I don't know why people aren't doing it. I think it's just kind of like a consequence of like the NFT market specifically going through the downturn that it did, and now going through a bit of a revival now. I think that it's just a consequence of the contraction of the market, that like everything kind of like flees to safe money, or everything kind of flees to established brands and stuff. And you see less kind of innovation and less kind of experimentation. Whereas when it was like really popping off in 21 and towards the start of 22, there was a lot of projects. Everyone was doing everything. Everyone was trying to strike all chords to find their unique voice and their unique position in the market. And everyone was basically, camping down chairs and going, all right, well, I'm doing this thing and I'm doing that thing. And I think we did see, some really innovative things come out of that, like Pudgy Penguins and stuff, and like all of the results that they came up with. But I think that, some people don't want to position themselves as that kid brand and stuff, because like they just want to be the more adult, edgier brand and stuff. And I think that it's really up to the brand to decide what they want to do, or who their audience is, and who they think they can cater to. I actually did a kids thing as well. I'll just show you on the Xfigure website. One of my videos, the first videos that I did, was using the language of when we were kids in the 90s and stuff, watching like toy commercials. It won't have sound, but you can actually go there and look at the video if you want. It maybe will run, I don't know. The xfigures.toys is the website. I'll just show you. Uh,
You can share the screen, or I can show it.
I'll private chat it to you. Privately talk with the host. Yes. Oh no, wait. I'll just share it in for the chat for everyone. But that's the website.
I'm
But
on the
if
page
you
right
go to
now.
media, the first one is actually like really kid. It's about kids, like kids playing with the toys. But the language in it is so funny because I was like, I had this
Wait,
thought
where
that's
is
really
it?
funny. Oh,
Where is
in
it?
me. Oh, if you look in media, there you go. The first trailer is the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the sound works, so that's good.
New from
All right.
X Figures, the ultimate blind box action figures.
Wow.
These action figures are all based on art by X Copy, as imagined
Wow.
by Nuclear Samurai. Do you dare to mint one of these MFers? With over 400 figures to collect, what the fuck are you waiting for? Minting June 13th. Avoid.
This is so dope.
Mint this motherfucker while you have the chance.
Bro, the kids and the swear words together with the toys is so dope. I'm fucking dead.
There was something so
Oh my
funny
God.
to me about making this like ad, like what we would have seen when we were kids and stuff, but making the host swear off his head, and like I was loading with it when I said MFers at the start, but then I was like, just go for it, dude. And I'm like, something about that idea of like the ads from when you were a kid just swearing at you is funny to me because like it's scandalous, and it is scandalous to have something like so dissonant like that, like kids playing with toys and then you're just swearing over the top of it. But like they're AI kids, so it doesn't matter. Like
They're not real.
As
They're
something,
AI
no,
kids.
What
Can I-
again, this one?
can I add something to know?
Of
Yeah, go.
course. Yes, of course.
As an artist, is there any royalty to Xcopy based on your
But
work?
no, yeah, that's a great question. Actually, there is not any royalty to Xcopy on it. Yeah, I hadn't even thought of that until now, really. But no, there's no royalty on it to Xcopy. I have reached out to Xcopy, but it's hard to talk to him. So, but no, all the royalties only kind of like stay in the project, and at the moment, I'm kind of just spending them within the project on things that are for the community at the moment. But yeah, that is a great question. Because it's CCO, I don't technically have to. But if you wanted to, you could reach out, and I could definitely hook him up. But I mean, it's one of those things where he's got to answer his messages.
X copy. If you're watching it, that just know that you can have like huge airdrop from this collection.
But no, it is a good question. And
I identify as X copy.
the thing is, well, that's actually a
I
great point.
identify.
The thing is, Yasmin, I actually do have potential future collaborators that I want to do this with. That I'm looking at splitting the project like 50% with. That would be based on their art, and it would be splitting the primary and royalty with them. I just didn't do it for X because, like, I mean, on the one hand, his work is fully CCO, so I can do it. But on the other hand, I don't think he needs it at the moment. Yeah,
Guys,
I don't think he's heading for $1 right now.
he's too rich, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a great point to make, and I think that it's something that it should be considered when you're doing this sort of stuff for sure.
Maybe just buy to him some, cake.
You have all the cakes that you like, my friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really interesting to be.
Wait,
Well, don't run. Yeah.
my bad. I was just wondering if cake was code for something, but I'll let it go because it's probably an inappropriate. Sorry.
It's not. I'm just gonna put it out there. It's not. It's not a. It's something. I'm very happily married. Yeah. So the idea of kids definitely came up in my mind a lot when working on this project and stuff, because when you do with toys and stuff like that, toys are generally for kids and stuff, and just thinking about these things as if, what would 12-year-old me want to play with and stuff, and what ways would excite me and make me want to go and get these and stuff. So that kind of like was on my mind a lot while I was working on this project.
I want to back a bit to, how did you start your way? Because, I know that you posted a lot of GMs to Cosimo de' Medici, so you could attract his attention. And I hear it from, this is like eternal, I think, inner fight in the all creative people, that from one side we want to create and immediately to be great for everyone. From another side, we actually need to survive and selling something, and this selling part, it's also so like almost always so heavy for many people, how to promote themselves, that they need to like push people to purchase them sometimes and everything. And but still, during like all this conversation, I hear from many people that they was focused on selling and promoting themselves on the first time of on the first period of joining art space, that they literally wrote to many people, etc. So yes, I want to a bit, more this less shameless for people and talk about this with successful people like you, right? For example, how people like not expect to be great from everyone eyes from the start and actually sell themselves, promote themselves, and how it was for you.
I think that for me, an interesting thing you brought up was the Cosimo Medici project. That one, that was like a way of getting attention. And I think that for me, I'm not really someone who likes to kind of do a hard sell on people and be like, you have to buy this, or like, or please buy it. You know what I mean? I don't really like being, going and shilling people in their DMs and stuff like that. And I don't really like going on spaces and shilling too much either. It's just not, it doesn't feel great. And I know some people are really good at that, and some people have to do that, like, or they feel they have to. For me, I started in 2022, and things were already cooling down into like a little bit of a fair sort of thing in 22. And basically, unless you were already established or with an established community, it wasn't really a great time to be joining. And so for me, I joined, and there were all these like pitfalls and traps where it was like, spaces were running all day, and they were all like, oh, I'm buying your art. And you go in and you wait 9 hours to talk to someone, and then you go, all right, yeah, here's my art. I hope you like it. And no one buys it, and no one really cares because they're just waiting for their turn, but then they've been waiting 8 hours too. And so like that was the space in 2022. There was all this noise, and there was all this kind of engagement farming that was going on, and all these traps for artists to fall into where they weren't going to sell any art and they were wasting their time. So they should have been spent making art and making friends. And eventually, after doing that for like a couple months at the very start, I was like, wow, this is all an illusion, and it's all bullshit, and like none of it really like works. And so I just stopped doing all of that, and I just started finding spaces to just go hang out in, people that I liked and I wanted to listen to that weren't like that, and I could talk to them just casually and be friends with them and be like, hey, oh yeah, I like this piece of art and I like that piece of art, and we would just talk about art for hours and stuff. And I had this one regular space I would go to, and I came back day after day after day, and like the first time I actually talked to them, they were really kind of rude to me because they didn't know who I was and stuff. But I came
Right,
back, I was like,
like
oh,
some
I was like,
degen space, or
no, it was like an art space, and they would talk about art every day. And they were just like, it was an artist and like a builder, and they would talk together about art from their different perspectives. And it was really chill. And yeah, they were like low key, kind of a little bit rude to me the first time I went on. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna make you be nice to me. And so I did that. I
oh, I
just
think
kept coming back.
many people was rude with you because you are an eye artist.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just low key because I just was near there and they didn't know me.
Okay.
It wasn't even that. I'm gonna be honest. I know that there's a lot of it around, and I've gotten some of the periods where someone you get someone's attention, and they go and brigade you, and they all give you death threats and shit like that. Like I've had that happen, but like I haven't had it that much really compared to what people think it happens, or what people think you deserve for it to happen. Like I just have been lucky, I guess, or maybe it doesn't really matter that much to me. But I mean, I've seen some horrible stuff said to artists just because they're AI artists and stuff. And I've seen some really like awful campaigns against them and stuff, like, particularly Petra Boyce and stuff. That was really intense what happened with her. And if you're not familiar with it, it was that someone did fan art of her art, right? Someone from the DeviantArt did fan art of her art because they really liked it. And then all of their friends made fun of them because that was AI art. And then they went on this huge, huge campaign against her and like rallied all these people to go and attack her. And like people were talking about her on YouTube and they're talking about her on Instagram, and everyone hated this one person. but like it translated into actually a massive success for her because everyone in the crypto space kind of rallied behind her and like bought her art and supported her. And so it was an interesting thing where, you know, everyone in the world was like hating her and like being really like, you know, giving her death threats and like other kind of threats and stuff. And like, it was really gross, but people, it was actually really nice seeing everyone step up and support her. But yeah, I think that like the getting finding ways to sell your art, that's really the wrong way. It's like it's so hard because you can't just go, I'm going to sell my art today. You know what I mean? Like you really have to start building a real like network in order to sell art. And the network has to be people who trust you and like you or like your art at least. They could buy your art even if they don't like you, but they have to trust you and they have to like your art and they have to be able to see your art. And that's the most important one is being able to get your art seen by other people. And for me, it happens fairly organically because I go out and I make friends with people and you know, I don't put expectations on them. I don't really expect anyone to buy my art. I've been friends with like big collectors in the space for years who haven't, and it doesn't really matter to me because you know, those people are people that I can talk to on a real level about real things if I want to. And I don't expect to have to talk to them about my art for them to, you know, most of them don't even share it. But like having a friend like that who, if someone ever asks about something that might be related to me and they go, oh, I know this one guy, you know, and I'm one of those guys that's on their mind. And I think that that's kind of like my approach is to just make sure that I'm here and I'm engaged for the right reasons with the right people and we're all vibing on the same kind of like ecosystem together. And I think the important thing is like, you know, like everyone says, you have to show up, but you have to show up to the right places and in the right way. And just showing up and sending a message directly to someone saying, hey, buy my art, that's not probably the right way. The right way is to go and find what you have in common with people, find things that you both like to talk about with each other and find the right times to talk about it and the right ways to get to know people and stuff so that you become genuine friends. Because like I say, I came here to make money and I ended up making friends instead. Like, because the first year I didn't make any money, you know, the first 2 years I didn't really make much money. But like I made a lot of friends and those friends really helped me a lot through the way. And I help them when I get my chances to as well. So I think that's really what it's like. It's just about building a network and building the people that trust you and that you can trust.
Yusman, how it's for you? Because from you, it will be also interesting to hear because you know, in one of your previous spaces, I really like what Brian Brickman said about his strategy, if you can say so. So he said like 30% of your time you need to dedicate to creating art, 30% of time you need to dedicate to promoting your art, and last 30% you need to dedicate to helping your friends and networking and everything. So yeah, how it's for you, Yusman? And yeah,
Uh,
do you have your strategy with it?
Last 3 months, I think I'm become supporter for my fellow artists. Like I collecting, I bidding. I spend around $5K maybe. I try to become a collector and see what I can get another point of view for my future NFT as an artist. It become interesting. So they lot of my friend is Indonesian artists really don't know how to do as an NFT artist. They just minting, selling, and that's it. Gitu. Not contribute in community, not making friends, not like that.
Mhm.
It's like making art, sell in Twitter, and that's it. So I try to become a collector last 3 months. So interestingly, uh, it's fun to collect the art. So in the future maybe I will out of the box of my comfort zone making. I usually make surreal art with my drawing skill, but maybe I will try to compromise in in next art. I think so. Become collector is a bit make a new view for my future art. I think. Something like that. Yeah. So, but last 3 months is I never make a new art. I just minting my stock, and maybe next month I will try to make new art again. Something like
I'm
that.
just showing you guys to use my art.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
actually while you were talking, I was just looking you up, dude. On I was looking at your foundation. It's beautiful, man. I really love this
Thank
kind
you,
of
man.
like
Thank you.
the fineness of it as well, and the animation's really nice too, actually too.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
what are
yeah.
you using to animate?
What?
What are you using to animate, dude? Like this one, Isaac.
Oh, okay, okay. Isaac is I collab with my friends actually. Like they he use Adobe, what Adobe to animate.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see. Yeah,
Adobe.
it looks really nice.
Yeah. But I try making my own animate. You can let me see. I will try to send you link
Yeah.
with Photoshop actually, because my computer is not good to making a complicated one. So I
Mm.
use a simple GIF to make animate one. Let me see this one. I will DM you. Uh,
Wait, you showing something to us?
oh yeah. No,
Okay,
no,
I
no,
didn't.
not DM. Private chat.
Ah,
I think.
okay.
I try to make animation based on my.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't see this. Wait.
Can you
Uh,
see?
yeah.
Because before I join the community and meet
Oh.
lot of friends, uh, I I just want to make 2D art, not animation one. Before this, but I
Oh
try.
wow, yeah,
Yeah,
I like it. It's awesome.
it,
So is
it's
that
it,
like
it's
full frame by frame? You doing that?
yeah. Frame by frame, just use
Wow,
Photoshop,
Crazy.
something like.
How much time it took?
wow.
Just for animated, I think 3 days.
Yeah, for real. That's a three. That's a full 3 days too. Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
oh.
The hard
I
part
really
is
love
the smoke one. If you can see the animation.
the effect of the ball as well is really cool. The way you've got that movement
Mhm.
happening in that loop is awesome, dude. I think that's amazing.
Thank
I've
you, man.
done I've done a bit of like frame by frame and I've done a bit of keyframe animation and stuff because like I've done, before pre AI, I was doing a lot of creative digital art and stuff too.
Yeah.
And I still use a lot of those techniques and things when there's AI can only get you part of the way sometimes, or sometimes you just want to do it. But yeah, I definitely have a lot of respect for people who do the frame by frame.
Thank you, man. It's really hard work. But I will.
You,
Yeah.
Yeah.
by the way, how it's your what's your opinion on AI art, for example? Because I don't
Uh,
know, we never talked
Back
about
to
it.
2021, I'm the person who anti AI actually.
Wait,
Because
you got
it's
me?
yeah, back to
Uh-huh.
2021, I think, when AI is boom.
Mhm.
I'm the person who anti AI because it's really really drain my energy to make an art, single art,
Yeah.
when AI can just make prompt back then and make good, actually good art back then. But now in 2025, my mind is open and I try AI by myself. Turns out it's really not that easy actually.
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT plus, but still
Mhm.
not good at it.
I think that your style you'll probably find so that's the thing about AI, like they all have their own flavor and stuff. And one thing you could potentially look into doing, if you're not super technically minded, you could go onto Korea.ai and you can train a model based on your own, and it's a private model that's just for you. And you can train a model based on your own pictures so that it has your style. and then you apply that as a like Laura. Basically, it's a style that you apply to your pictures you generate. And when you generate it based on what you write, it'll try and put your application on there, either your art applied to it. Otherwise, you can do the same thing in Midjourney too, where you go. Midjourney has a thing called mood boards, and if you upload your own artwork onto your own private mood board, and then you activate it when you put in your prompts, it will be passing that through your style and going, hey, let's do it in the Usman style, and like they're private for you and you can tweak them however you like, but it means that you can have a bit more input into it without it being a direct image to image.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I see.
so these things might help you because your style is so specific, and I think that like you don't want to lose that special touch of you in the art, and I think that that's a way that you could probably do that.
Yo, so
Just
for now, AI is more complicated than before. So I just know AI just making prompt and that's it. The art is appear. I don't know how can AI make art based on my art. I still don't know how to use it, but I will try to learn it. Thanks for
damn it, DM me anytime, man. I'm happy to help you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Oh,
I
that's
appreciate it.
awesome. By the way, Yusman, are you planning to do some generative collection or something like that? Because my question is for you, Nuke. Do you have like difference between being one collections author and making art like more custom and everything, or being an owner of the collection? Like full collection. Is there any difference? Like how you feel yourself, like what responsibility you have among like people who your buyers, or like no. And yeah, Yusman, do you planning to do something like this?
Okay.
I don't know who will answer, just who wants.
You spend. I think there's a more clear question for you there. And do you have a generative project coming? So you go first, and then I'll answer after.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Actually, I already make similar to generative art. You can check it. I don't know what is kind of this art.
Mm-hmm.
I make art based on the pattern, but from that pattern, I create one by one. You can look at it.
This is
What
so
do you think?
dope.
Cool.
What do you
Very
think?
cool.
I already send the link.
Like this is
I
so great, cool. So you sold out it, or is it for sale or not? Oh, okay,
already
I
sell
see.
all of them.
Okay.
But
S-
maybe I can collaborate with a friend who can generate automatically. But from now, I just make it one by one based on the space pattern like this. But in the future, maybe I will make generative one, really generative one.
this is amazing. I really love this one, red with a moon, with the moon.
This
Cool.
still
I
one.
love the one with. I love the one made in 12 with the 6 eyes and they're blinking and then their face comes apart and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's it. This
So amazing.
I'm
Yeah,
proud of this work actually.
Okay,
it's
so my
awesome.
question actually, okay, let's Nuke, let's talk about this. How Usman can make this collection as like popular and cool as yours, for example. What advice you can give to Usman, for example, and people like artists who trying to make the generative collection or whatever collection just super
Yeah.
successful? What the
So
point?
there's a few different things that are at play with, I guess, the success of my collection, but I'm also finding success in another series that I'm doing too. So the
Yeah.
three main ways that you can release art are, one of one, and then you got one of one X, which is where you have, they're all part of one collection. So like this maiden collection, I would say is one of one X, right? And so these are all part of the 15, maybe 15 different, so it's one of one of 15, right? And then you've also got limited editions, right? And there's also open editions, but let's just say editions for making it easy. And so when you have a one of one, it's just a one work of art and they can stand on their own or they can also be kind of like part of a series, but generally a one of one is a one of one and there's only one of it. And that's the kind of work that you would put to an auction or you would put to a list price and expect it to demand a higher price because it's got a smaller supply. But it's complicated. There are some people who sell their, their total edition allotments end up worth more than a one of one, but it's complicated. So otherwise you have one of one X. And so when you're doing a one of one X, you're going to want a lot of collectors, and you're going to want to basically make them want to have these pieces in a way that what they're getting is something that they can, become a part of a community of holders who hold that. And it's a similar thing with limited editions too. And so what you're trying to do when you're trying to appeal to people to get a one of one X or a limited edition is you're trying to appeal to someone to collect the same thing that other people are collecting and to find a common interest in it amongst themselves. And so generally what I would do when it comes time to release this sort of thing, if you're going to be releasing a larger collection, then you're going to want to get a lot of collectors. And so you need to have you need to have people talking about it essentially. In order
Yeah,
to
I
get
see.
enough people to mint it, you need to have, you can't just rely on your message getting across to who you need to see it. And so you need to get people involved. And for me, working on this project, because I had a very clear collector base that I wanted to be interested in it, and that was X copy collectors and people who like X copies art. And so there's a really established community there. And this is kind of a G code for this one that won't really work for everything. But I would go, all right, which communities like that type of art? And I will go and find them, and I would talk to people who I knew already in them. So it wasn't strangers, it was people that I already knew. And I was like, hey, I know you like this kind of art. What do you like about, I've got this I'm working on, and I show them a sneak peek of the work and I go, hey, I'm working on this. Do you like it? What do you think could be better about it? And I would take the critique and I'd take the advice, and they go, oh, I like this. I don't like that. I go, okay. So, and then I'll take that with me, and I already would be working within the communities that I wanted to be interested in it. I was getting their advice because they're the ones who I want buying it. But what it means is that when I'm telling them, and I say, I don't really tell too many people about this, they will go, yeah, I won't. And then they'll go tell them about it straight away. And so like for me, that meant there was word of mouth going around about me, it was like, it was building hype because I was doing it over months, and I was showing my work on the timeline and making sure people got to see me, the sketches, the partway through, because I read this book and it's really good. Austin Kleon's Show Your Work. And it's just about really kind of letting go of that part of you that only wants to show the perfect final product, and really letting people be a part of the process and showing them while you work on it, what you're doing and how it's coming together and stuff. And by doing that, I was letting people in and letting people be a part of the process and giving them reasons to be hyped and excited about it before it released. Because and sometimes to put together a video of me working on it was more work than the day's work that I would have done. But the returns in the end of people having an interest in it and being able to talk about it early and have something to look forward to, that meant that it was worth the time of putting together that video. And so it was things like time lapses of drawings, or comparisons of the original art, or comparisons of what my references were, or my mood boards and stuff like that. It was just about bringing people into the creative process so that they had a reason to see it early. And by showing that, other people were sharing it, people were commenting on it. That helped a lot with my visibility. And it meant that people just were aware. Like the main problem you're going to have with any kind of a collection of size is getting enough people to want it. And people want it when they see other people wanting it. And it becomes this real snowball effect. So, in order to get that first snowball rolling, you have to have people talking about your work. And if you love it, which you obviously do, it's pretty easy for you to find a way to talk to people about the art and go, hey, I'm really excited about this. I trust you. I want your opinion. And you find enough people to tell that to and get their opinions and take it on board. And then when they eventually see it, they go, hey, I said to do that, that makes them excited. They want to be a part of it because they're like, hey, I influenced this, I feel some ownership of that too.
Make
So
a sentimental factor to them, like that.
yeah. And so I think that those are some factors that you can do. Definitely it really is, fight the instinct to just tell people to share things or because I know I'm not saying you, I'm saying this is sort of broad, general kind of sense.
Yeah.
Sending someone a DM oh, hey, I don't mean to bother you, but please could you share this post? No one's going to share it. All the people who do will share it begrudgingly, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, I guess I will.
Like that.
Yeah, the hard sell doesn't work very well on a lot of people, and guilting people into buying things, it means that the association they have about buying it is guilt or feeling bad. and you want people to feel good about your art, you know? And so
Yeah.
instead, what I do is like, I'll show people an exclusive first look into it. And I'll go, hey, I want your opinion of this because I'm working on it. You get to see it first, but I get to get your opinion. That's the trade, you know? And like, you know, that's not something that costs much for people to give you. And it's something that you just, you know, if you ask for someone's opinion, you have to take it, even if it's not what you want to hear. Like, and it's a good idea to try and listen when people tell you something that you don't agree with, because there might be something there, you know?
It's
Yeah.
so true. Yeah, when I was in school, I had a troubles with one teacher that disliked me, and my mom said like you need to ask something from her, because when you ask people about something and they give it to you, they can't hate you anymore, because that's they invested in
Yeah.
you basically. So yeah, I really
Yeah.
like this,
I had a
and
similar
I
thing in
tried.
uni.
And it's worked, by the way. It's actually worked. So
That's a good one. I never thought of it that way. I had a similar teacher in uni when I was in art school and stuff, and I had a teacher in second year who was like really brutal critiques on me specifically because like they didn't have anything technical they could teach me at the time because I was focusing on photography and I was pretty technically good at photography. I was just conceptually not very good at it. And so like so my ideas were really surface level and my like concepts were kind of like obvious. And so for a whole year, I was just like really brutal critiques. And then eventually I was like, can we get like a coffee together? And I got a coffee with them and why don't you like me? And they're like, I like you fine. I just think that your work is like, you know, it could be better. And I was like, yeah, but you're kind of really brutal on me. And they were like, I can't critique you on the techniques, but I can critique you on your content and your content needs work. That's just how it is. And I was like, okay, cool. I actually can totally respect that. And then it really helped me to have someone who was that brutal on me for like a whole year though, because it stopped me from finding a comfort zone and it really pushed me to want to do better. And then it did eventually click for me. I did eventually get it and go, oh, you know what? You were right. I all my ideas were actually not very good.
Come
And
on,
then,
no, it doesn't mean that, because I have art education as well. I my like how to say it, university. I
yeah,
finished design university, so at like we had a lot of art lessons and everything. And I feel like not a single hater can touch you if you have art education, because like teachers
Yeah.
hating you so
Yeah.
much. Literally hate
yeah,
the biggest haters for you, it's your art teachers. That's crazy, especially
it
design
just
and
break you down.
fashion.
But
I remember
it's one of
all
those
those
things.
hard words. Yeah.
It's so personal, and like you'd probably know this too, Yasmin, as well. Like when you make art, and like you know, it's when you put like all of everything you have into a piece of art, and then someone says, "Oh yeah, it's not very good," and you're like, "Okay," but
It's not
that
very
was
good.
everything.
In Russia, they tell us like that's shit,
Yeah,
all the time, exactly these words.
yeah,
Like,
we get that too. But like you
Sometimes
get that,
it's
and you're
really,
just like,
really
"Oh my
hurts.
god," and it hurts your feelings, you know, and it does hurt your feelings. And I think that
yeah,
that's something that like that experience though is so powerful for being like for breaking down something in you, you know what I mean? Like the abuse just really cuts through and like it unlocks something in you because you're like, you know, I really wanted to be better and stuff. And some people it doesn't work for, and some people it doesn't, you know, and like um you know, it is an important part to get that critique, and it's something that we kind of lose a little bit here in like you know the crypto art space is that so much of it is so wagmy and so like oh no yeah great job you know when sometimes it's not a great job. Like for me, I don't really engage in that kind of stuff where it's like if I don't particularly think it's good, I just will just stay out of it. Or like you know I do actually sometimes directly tell people it's not to my taste if they are show me something I don't like. But you know, like you said, Usman, about, you know, going into collecting and stuff like that. You know, this project was successful and I've been doing a little bit of like picking some things up here and there, but like I'm also doing a lot on and on wallets because I don't really want people like in my DMs a lot. It's how do you handle that? Like,
absolutely. So let's like I didn't want to make this stream too long, because I
yeah,
respect your time at first, and secondly, we will have this recording on YouTube, and for people when they see like 2 hours, they're afraid of watch start of watching,
yeah,
because they
for
oh,
real.
take care about the time. But I want to ask the question that probably interests many people is how to be connected with your art right now. What's the future collections and what you're planning to do, so we could be aware of it and prepare our wallets or whatever for it. And you also showed me your next projects already, so please tell about this. And yeah, really interested how you build it now.
Yeah, so for me, to find my work, you can find me on at Mutagen Samurai on Twitter. It's like Nuclear Samurai, but I couldn't get the name, so it's Mutagen Samurai. But if you just look up Nuclear Samurai, you'll find me. Yeah, I'm on Super Rare, I'm on OpenSea, I'm on I'm also on Foundation, sort of. But yeah, my current things that I'm doing right now is, yeah, X Figures is getting a couple of editions over the next 4 weeks. We're doing an airdrop for all the X Figure holders, which is like one edition that they'll get to burn redeem, and that'll be redeemable for like for 3 different editions that go on over the 4 weeks. And then so that'll be a thing that I'm working on right now. And then I've also have my alt account, which is nuke.eth, and basically I started this whole new aesthetic that I'm just keeping really kind of like aesthetically narrow so that it is a bit more consistent, because Nuclear Samurai as a brand, I'm very experimental. And so I do a lot of different kind of like things. And with Nuke.eth, I just want to do like one kind of narrow aesthetic, which is a bit easier to understand and a bit easier to kind of follow for collectors. And so with that, I'm doing small runs of editions, and this is actually something that I learned from studying Xcopy, is that there's a lot of power in a small edition, something that lets people to jump in with not too much of a cost, because like a lot of the Xcopy's work that's worth millions now sold for $10. So like I'm putting together editions that you can be a part of for like, $30, and there's like, 10 other people get to have that. And then, if Nuke.eth takes off and they end up blowing up and being worth something, that means that the people who collected them and invested in it early, they get to get a return on that. And that was a lot of my idea for the pricing of X Figures as well, is that I didn't want it to be too expensive. I wanted it to be cheap and easy to get in. It was only like, it was 0.018. And so that was around like Australian money, like $50 or $60. And so like, yeah, it wasn't free, but it wasn't super expensive either. And it just meant that people got the chance that if it blew up, they could make a return. And like, I don't think the art should be a purely speculative asset, but I think that if people are going to take a risk on you, then there should be some potential that they might be able to get a return if they want to. And so yeah, Nuke.eth is the exploration of that idea. And in that series, I'm still figuring out what it is that I'm saying, but the work is coming to me very intuitively. And so it's really kind of like commentary on current, just current feelings of the world and stuff. And they're very much about this kind of like commonality, and disillusionment is a really strong running theme. But every piece that I'm making with the thought of having multiple answers to every question. And so like there's a few different ways you could read them. But yeah, so you can find that they're all happening on Transient Labs at the moment, but there's a couple partnerships in the works for this as well. So you'll start to see Nuke.eth and a few other places too. So yeah, Nuke.eth, Nuclear Samurai, that's how you find me.
I already can see in this picture something, from the past, from something not a nostalgic, but okay, I will explain it. Like now, all this corporate culture is struggling, I believe, because a lot of people tried how to work more freely, remotely, etc. So it's already feels outdated to be in the office and everything. So it feels like you try to show already past of humanity.
Yeah, so it's all, I'm using this particular retro kind of imagery because for me, there is something that once you go retro, like in this like quasi retro space, it becomes almost timeless in a way, because for me, I'm more talking less about contemporary, the actual contemporary experience, and I'm more talking about a symbolic experience. And so that's why for all of them, I work with this liminal space where it's limited in white. and the animations are all kind of like a little borderline glitchy and stuff. And then yeah, I'm working in this like liminality and stuff purely because a lot of it's symbolic.
Yeah, I
So
can
yeah,
see.
it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm just sharing in abstract your links, and tell me please, will you share it on your main page, this project, or people should follow your this second account? How it's better for people?
I would say follow the main page because I put more things on there. And then all the things the new Dotties are going onto the main page as well. I'm just keeping the secondary page more as an art diary for this project. And so that's for people who are the collectors or who are really interested and want to follow along for this art diary. It's not very many followers on there, so it's kind of quiet, which is good. It's just a space for me to share I guess the mood board and the aesthetic as I develop it through time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I love to hear it. And links, if so, in the chat, guys, on the abstract, and they will be there. Also, I want to ask Yusman what you're preparing next, how we can connect it to be with your art. And yeah.
Okay. Maybe for now I will try to enter the Ethereum again. Like I will try. I have planned to mint on Transient, same like Nuke, and also Foundation One. You can follow me in Foundation. Maybe 2 weeks from now I will mint a new one per one art in my Foundation. Link
Okay.
link for link for my Foundation is in my bio. I think you can open it.
Uh-huh.
So there you go.
Oh no, wait.
Before this, I market my art in Salesforce, but I will try to Ethereum again.
Okay,
Nah,
okay. I added links also. So guys, thank you for this amazing time to talking with you. And I have like my classic questions for the old guests, like founders, artists that I'm asking here. It's a format of blitz, so you need to answer quickly, like or explain your answer, but it's like for short format. Wait, let me put on off. So first question, guys, it's you need to choose only one: full centralization everywhere or full decentralization. What you would choose?
For centralization.
Oh my God,
No.
that's cool. Okay, Yusman.
decentralized, I think.
Okay.
Everyone would hate me for saying what I did, but like there is a convenience that comes with it that's nice.
Yes, super agree with you because for some like it's protection for many reasons. Yes, of course. Okay, full doxing for everyone or full undoxing. You need to tell all data, all your data.
For undocs hidden.
Mm-hmm.
For me, doxing is not bad, I think. But I usually work as a fine artist. Doxing is make your name is higher than before, I think.
Yeah, but by the way, I'm full undoxing as well because now like all this I like during our stream. By the way, I heard from you, Nuke, that you trying to not really highlight where you living and your private
Oh, I see.
information, right?
Oh
The
well,
personal info, you mean doxing personal info, something like that?
yeah,
Mhm.
doxing personal info. Yeah, for
I
me,
see.
yeah, you can see what city I live in on my Twitter. Like that's not a secret, and like there's enough clues around to find out who I am if you really want to. Like, because there's nothing that special about me. But it's more just like I don't really want my full name out there, and I don't want my very local shops out there. You know what I mean? You can know the major city that I live in. You can't know the suburb I live in.
Yeah.
It's
I
not
think that, and yeah, if there's a choice between anon or docs, I would choose if you was like everyone knows everything about you or everyone knows nothing. I'd rather know nothing.
I
I
agree with
change
you.
my
It gives you what again? What again? Please
I
repeat.
changed my mind. I just dox my real name. That's it, and my art.
Yeah. Okay. Next question, guys. If you would meet Satoshi Nakamoto in person, what you would ask from him? Like, what question you would ask him?
Can I have 100 bitcoins, please?
You think he's stupid? Okay. So Rich. You
Uh, I I will ask why you withdraw 100 Bitcoin last. I see Satoshi
It
Nakamoto.
was for me.
Wow. Why he do that? Gitu.
Because I did meet him, and that's what I asked him, of course. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, next question is a bit brutal, but I want to ask it, and I ask it from our all guests, because you are, guys, an example for many people who want to enter art space or whatever, and we need to know, like, is it possible to actually survive in this space when they choose this profession or whatever? So my question is, how much you earn with crypto on what you're doing? Like, of course, like you can tell, like, approximately.
Over time, over the years, I don't know. I don't even know, man. Like it's been enough to pay my bills and stuff. But like for the first 2 years, I didn't really make any money. So if
Mhm.
you're planning to survive here, you're gonna have to have a job, and you're gonna have to probably live off that job, and probably do this as a hobby or a side job. And you probably have to work 2 to 3 times harder than you would if you just weren't doing this. So it was really something that takes a lot of passion, and it's really something that takes a lot of like, dedication. And even when like, let's say theoretically, I did do very well, like the last couple of years, even then, the last leading up until this project, the last 8 months of being full time at this was just watching my savings go down to nothing and watching my debt go up and up, because it was just 8 months of just no sales, really. One or two here. I had some really good supporters who were, helping me out here and there and stuff and picking things up. But like, until I found this last big success, I was pretty close to running out of runway and stuff. And that's the reality, is that like, even when you have collectors, have community, have success, it's still really easy to run out of runway and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's hard. You can make it, but you got to be pretty savvy, and you got to have some other income.
And you still, even like, despite of success of your collection, you're still working as a photographer, right? You
Yeah,
still.
so I'm a freelancer, and now I'm in this place now where I'm actually freelancing into all these other kind of roles that take advantage of my skills. So I'm doing a lot of kind of like AI things now. I'm doing AI content creation. I'm doing like AI research and stuff. And so I have these other streams of income that are work. Like I have to do work for other people, but they are now starting to leverage my new skills, as well as I still take photo jobs too, because it's just something I'm good at. So
Mhm. Okay. Usman, how about you?
I think I earned big money back 2021, and I bought this house from that money. But
Oh, that's cool.
this
Congrats.
house, but after 2023, it's really hard to become as NFT artist, I think. So I tried to survive and work as fashion designer before I quit. So for now, I just try to survive on this Web3, but I still believe we can make a good career for from this space. I think you have to consistent. You have to consistent and move on and compromise all of your ego. Have to tone down something like that and try to make a lot of friends in Web3. I think to make your
Mhm.
journey is more going up. I think something like that. Sorry if my English is not too good.
No,
no,
everything
it's
is
great,
good.
dude. It's great.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm asking it too because I want to, in the near future, to start my own art project. So guys, I'm really, I don't know, because I don't want to think about money when I'm doing this project,
Yeah.
because it will totally spoil everything, like all creativity.
It does, yeah.
So yeah.
It's hard to put that expectation on your art as well, because if you do, you do put art out there and then it doesn't get received in the way that you need it to financially, then it can really sour your opinion of like your actual achievement with the art. And I think that really removing that expectation from yourself when you're starting out and building up your collector base and your kind of like practice is really important to, and that's really hard to say to someone to go, hey, don't try to make money off this. Like, but like the truth is like the 2021 days that I wasn't even here for them, but I hear that it was pretty good, and it's not been that way since
Absolutely.
I got here. But like for me, the pathway to making sales and connections and stuff like that is to get curated into things if you can. Because I see this question from Simjon about tips for newcomers who want to come in, and is there a community that can help newcomers maybe with getting funding and access to networks? The truth is there are some grants out there, but I've never applied for one. I've never received one. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I have received one grant, but that was one that was offered to me after I was already successful. And so, like, that's what you'll probably find a lot of here is that, when you're emerging and you're like this unknown quantity, you're probably going to be seeing a lot of people get a lot of opportunities who've already made it, and it's going to make you feel even more disheartened. And that's unfortunately like that's something that you really have to come to terms with and stuff. Because I see it like for people who are far above me, where I'm like, wow, they get so many opportunities that I would if I could just get one. But like the truth is that it's not a great way to look at things that way, because you'll find that it takes the focus away from your own practice and what you can achieve, because everyone's in different positions. Everyone has a different style. Everyone has a different way of communicating. And like, for each person, the answer is going to be different. The answer for Ira is going to be different to the answer to me. And the answer for Yusman is going to be different to the answer for me. Like, but you find what you're good at and you use that to make friends and make genuine connections. In terms of communities that help newcomers, there were a lot. I'm not particularly active in any of them anymore. But you can find some, uh, let's see, are there any still here that's still active? I'm just looking through my Twitter communities. There are some, but you know what's a really good advice actually? If you go to thehug.xyz, you can make kind of like, if you can get curated onto the hug, it's not that hard to get curated there, sort of. You just have to get voted on. But the hug is a really good opportunity for open calls and stuff like that. So you can get curated into exhibitions. And then when you get curated into exhibition, you get into their group chat and then you meet the other artists, you make friends with them that way. That's a good kind of pathway to starting to build your network. So if you see open calls, go into Hug XYZ. That's a really good community for like starting out. If you go on their Discord, they will have, advice for you there as well. I actually found they were very supportive for me when I was kind of starting out. So they're good.
Thank you so much for this, answer. I know Hug XYZ, by the way, never was connected with them. And Simjan, I will try to add you in some art chats where I am, but mostly people just share in their art there and not really talk much. And I agree with Nuke that you just need to find people who the same views and taste as the same soul as you, and that will be the best connection, because you can't force to be close to someone. You just can't handle it yourself to like person that you dislike actually, and it's easier to find complicated and easier at the same time to find people who are actually yours and will be genuinely wanted to connect it with you. Yeah. So last one thing is especially helping realistically set expectations. Yeah. So last thing is, art talks we're doing every Wednesday, and you guys feel free to jump on every call. If you see the artist who interests you, you just jump in and telling that you want to jump on the call, and we will add you as a guest. And Yusman, I really hope that you will join further calls, because it's super comfy to have you, and I really like to share your art and watch your art over and over. Super happy to collect it as well. And Nuke, for you only, like, will you join, Usman? Because you know our tradition is to message to yourself in a year, and I really think that we can do this the next time.
I'll definitely do my best. I know that you guys run at crazy times for me. So this is currently almost 2 a.m. for me. So, and I know that your normal show is kind of like 4 a.m. for me or something. So I'm just like, we'll see what I can do. If it's ever on at a time that's good for me, I'll be there. But if it's like, if you have any other Aussies on there, I'll jump in for sure. But yeah, it was a total pleasure. And I would love to be on another show as soon as it's makes sense time wise.
Wait, this thing, record, please message to yourself in a year. This is the last thing I wanted.
Okay. Hey Nuke, it's me from 1 year ago. I bet it's really nice, like, you know, on your yacht right now, even though you don't like boats. No, yeah, I hope that whatever you're doing is just as awesome as what you were doing before.
I love it. Usman, now your turn.
Oh.
Can you repeat the question, please?
This record, just message to yourself in a year. I love to do this because you know, we kind of can see how a person communicate with himself when he talk with the mirror. That's why I put you on the big screen, and yeah, just maybe a year after you will back to this video and you'll watch this message.
Usman in the next year, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe try to make good choice, not the bad one. You really have a bad choice in the past. Lot of bad choice you choose, something like that. You have to make a good choice, good path of life, the good one, something like that.
That's
Sorry,
interesting. Yeah, for the third time, I really think like we need to make a separate stream with you. I want to know what a baddie you are, what a bad choices you made.
so much, man.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I was happy to see you on the Art Talks, and yeah, we're here every Wednesday. And thank you everyone for watching us, for tipping on abstract, and just commenting for the following. So thank you so much. And in a good quality, this record will be on YouTube, and I will cut some clips and will put it on the timeline. But I will also put time code so you can back to the questions that interest especially you, and will, you know, comfortable to watch. Guys, thank you so much. Nuke, Usman, it was amazing.
A pleasure to meet you. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.